What is going on, gamers? Welcome to another Beyond Plug and Play video. I am your host, Logic Motion. Today is 12:30, right before the New Year's, and we have some crazy topics. We have Square Enix on exclusives and whether they should do them or not do them, PlayStation on live service titles, and we have news about Half-Life 3. Crazy, right? So let's get right into it. Okay, so in a recent interview with IGN Brazil, the producer and director of the original franchises of Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Naiko Hamaguchi and Yoshinori Kitase, had said that we can't be exclusive to a console. So during the month of September, Square Enix released a financial report in which it was reported that Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 17 did not meet profit expectations. However, the sales figures of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth are safe and satisfactory. So one of the things that they go on to say is that while we are safe and satisfied that we're reaching a certain level of sales, it is clear that with the modernity of games, we cannot be exclusive to a single platform. Kitase said, "I think we need to offer the game to as many players as possible." Okay, so this is good for a couple of reasons. One, because we've known for the longest, maybe not all the corporations, but we've known for the longest that releasing your game on multiple platforms is a good strategy to get people to play your game, to have more people play your game. Releasing it on PlayStation, Xboxes, the Switch, PC, your game's gonna have more eyes and more opportunities for people to play. And then you have the potential for people to be like, oh, I picked it up on PlayStation, I'm gonna pick it up on PC too now, or, you know, just you have your game is in so many more places. There's just more opportunities for people to buy your game, right? Now, the only thing that can really be said for that, like we've known that for the longest. We've always known that. But one thing we have to take from this is that you have to release your game at the same time. You can't really like say this and then like boom, like, okay, we're gonna release it on PlayStation first, which is fine if you want to do that, and then like 8 months later it's going to come out like on PC. Well, people have, by then they've lost interest, right? The next new shiny thing is out. This game's already been out. You've seen all the spoilers on Twitter or whatever social media platform you're on. So it's stale. It's not new anymore. So you really have to release these games like at the same time, you know, like release it on PlayStation at the same time you release it on Xbox, PC, and if it were to ever come to the Switch, I think that would make a big difference in just the hype levels, because like if I only have a Switch or if I only have an Xbox and I'm seeing all these other people play it, and you know, eight months goes by or a year goes by and it's still not on my platform, I'm not going to have as much interest as when it initially came out. There are some people that might be there, but like, yeah, like, you know, we're hyped, you know, it's still coming out. But for the most part, I can see a lot of people losing interest because a game comes out like 6-8 months to a year later, right? But in hindsight, this is good. This is a corporation realizing, Square Enix realizing that releasing your game on multiple platforms is a good thing. More people, more access to your game. It's just good in general. You can't really, like, you have the opportunity to make more money by putting your games on more platforms. So this could never be a bad thing. I don't know why you would just segregate yourself to one platform. Obviously, there's probably some deals and money involved with Sony and whatever, but just I feel like the player base on PC, the potential player base on the Xbox, like all together weighed in. Even if you want to count the Switch, I know the Switch probably couldn't run this game. Maybe the Switch too. Counting all those players together probably outweighs like any sort of deal that you're going to get from like Sony or whoever by keeping it platform exclusive. But I don't know, right? That's just a guess. So one of our next stories is PlayStation continuing to focus on live service games. So PlayStation isn't giving up on live service games anytime soon. In a recent interview with Japanese outlet Famitsu, PlayStation co-CEO Herman Hulst said that the company still believes in the model despite recent hiccups like Concord. So Hulst goes to say the game business is constantly changing due to various factors, including technological advances, new genres, and ways of playing. Hulst says via auto translation, however, one thing that remains constant is people's desire for great entertainment experiences and attention to games continue to grow. However, this has also created competition, and like many companies in the industry, we've had to make changes to our business to solidify a more sustainable operating base. I see where Hulst is coming from. So even with the bomb of Concord being like the worst thing they've ever pushed out, while also spending a bunch of money on it, they also had Helldivers, which was amazing. So you have the best live service games, you have the worst live service game, all in one company, right? But they still spent a lot of money on Concord. But basically what he's saying is that even with that bomb, we're going to be focusing on live service games, and we'll continue to push out single player games as well. But live service is still going to be something that we focus on, which I think like after Concord, you should dial it back like exponentially. You should dial it back and then just really start focusing on those single player games, just because like single player games are just shown to do well. And you just, I feel like every big like major gaming corporation is chasing this Fortnite well, right? We're gonna try to have a game that's ever evolving, ever changing, ever just like it just there's just so many things around it where it's just infinitely profitable, right? So every corporation wants something like that, and so the risk for them is everything. You know, they're like, okay, because I mean in general Fortnite was a risk too, but I just feel like they're chasing it so hard they just forget that, hey, like you could make some really not like per se easy money, but like if you push out single player games, people are going to get it. Like look at something like Elden Ring, right? Like Armored Core, like these games sell very well. Even like all the Final Fantasies and stuff like that, like they all sell really well. And there's a reason for that. People love single player games. Anyway, live service games can be good and bad. You know, I play Helldivers, I play Warframe, I play Call of Duty. Those could all be seen as live service games, but I would just really like them to dial it back a little bit, focus on those single player games, focus on some IPs you really haven't worked with in years. I know they revealed a new IP at the Game Awards, so that's good. But yeah, I would just like to see people stop chasing that Fortnite dream where we can have this game that's infinitely profitable, infinite changing, infinite like revolving around the player. Like it sounds cool and all until your game bombs like Concord. All right, and so for this last story, it is crazy. It is, you probably wouldn't believe it. It is Half-Life 3, right? Everyone's always said it. Half-Life 3 never gonna happen. All this whatever, right? But apparently this guy, his name's Gabe Follower. He's got his sources. He leaked Deadlock last year. Apparently he's got his sources, right? But my source is this guy. I don't even know, you know, so I don't know if it's real or not. All I can say is that it would be really cool to get a Half-Life 3. I mean, these games are phenomenal. Like, just like when people talk about gaming, you know, Half-Life is that, you know, Half-Life. It's just one of the things that have moved the needle for gaming. It's influential, right? Like how Minecraft is influential with gaming. Like that's like Half-Life, like, you know, before Minecraft and all that stuff. But I would love for it to be real. I would love to. I would just love for it to be real. I don't know what else to say. I don't want to get too worked up on it. Like, you know, just amp yourself up on some like Half-Life 3 or whatever. I've played the Half-Life 1 and 2, and then I played what is it, Alex VR, and you know, it's great. I just, you know, I don't want to hype myself on it. I think it's cool. I think it's great. And I would love for it to be real, but obviously more time's gonna have to pass. We're gonna have to get some more information. Like I said, this guy also had information on Deadlock last year, so it seems like he could be credible. So like I said, I would love for it to be real, and this would just flip, like the whole gaming world would just flip over. Like it would be the craziest news ever if it were real, right? But I'm sure they're gonna do like some grand reveal, right? This is like this would be huge. Anyway, I know it's been a while. I'm gonna try to be a little bit more consistent. I've changed my whole setup around. So I have a new 16:9 monitor. I had an ultra wide before and it was kind of hard to do videos, but now everything is just coherent in my setup. So everything is just boom, 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 easy to do. So I'm gonna try to push out videos every not single day, but I will try to push out videos. You know, that's just what's going to be. So if you made it this far into the video, thank you for watching. What do you think about PlayStation and live service titles? What do you think about Final Fantasy or Square Enix in general wanting to put their games on all platforms and not just stick to PlayStation? And what do you think about Half-Life 3? You think it's real? You think he's a phony? You think he's a big fat phony? Let me know what you think. Either way, it's all cool. Thank you for making it this far in the video, and I'll see you next time. Take care. See ya.